Hello and welcome to another episode of First Line Secrets with Christoph Acer and Theresa Puckett. Today's episode, I am flying solo. So you're getting all of me, Theresa Puckett. And today I'm going to be talking about something that is not only near and dear to my heart, but my being, my energetic being. This is a very big theme. I'm talking today about mother versus mothering, and the opposite actually, energy of mother versus mothering. And just a tiny bit of background to help you understand where I'm coming from. I have two sons. They were born in 2003 and 2005. And I have training as an experience as a Montessori teacher, experience both in toddler as well as preschool, love kids, and also experience as a parent coach, not parenting coach, but parent coach. And that's a little bit related. But where we're going to start today is with yin and yang. You may have heard of yin and yang's, different pronunciations, yin yang, but it's the Taoist concept of energy, and yin energy it is literally the energy of mother, nourishment, earth. Okay, there are a lot of other adjectives we can use. Mothering is a yang energy, and yang energy is in terms of the body, it's higher up, it's brain, it is something that helps to govern and control. So the brain is yang to the heart's yin. Okay. A really, really important concept. It's not even in my notes here, but it's a super important concept to understand about yin and yang is that nothing is absolutely yin and nothing is absolutely yang. It's all relative. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about mother versus mothering, and it's almost like, well, Theresa, is this mother or is this mothering? It's not quite as simple as that. It's sort of like, is my shirt purple? Well, if you put it next to blue, it looks purple, but if you put it next to a true violet, it looks more red or something. It's relative. So keep that in mind. This, as with any important concept, the simplicity is very powerful, but there are nuances. Okay, we don't want to be putting on the black and white glasses and using that as the way to judge, is this mother or mothering? Because really, and I'm going to use that to flow into a differential between mother and mothering. Mother is open. Mother is nourishing. Mother is accepting of things how they are in the moment. Mothering is can be more judgmental, more directive. Yeah, judgmental is a good opposite there. Now, look, if you have a little 2-year-old who's about to run out into the street, that little 2-year-old does not need energy of nourishment and all of that. That little 2-year-old needs to be kept safe. Okay, that is an extreme example. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to keep that little guy or little gal safe, and then we're going to calm and we're going to be with that little child in terms of mother, and help to put that in context in a way that that child might be able to absorb, which might just be that, mom or dad, or I have an adult who loves me, as opposed to pulling that little child out of the street and then yelling at them because they don't understand and they need to be, knowing everything that you know. That's not helpful. It's not true. And it's coming from a place of fear within us, right? That is cultivating fear instead of facilitating a real understanding that is appropriate for the age level, and accepting where they are in their age level and accepting who they are in terms of their preferences, their energetic composition. We are not all the same. We don't all have the same kinds of energy. We don't all have the same amount of energy. We don't all have the same tendencies, preferences, desires. And just because someone's are different doesn't make them wrong. It makes them different from our own. And so that's where, as parents and as humans in today's world, we can get tripped up because we have grown up in a world that is more brain-based, that is directing us to look outside of ourselves for answers. You know, the least little thing is wrong with you, better go to the doctor because you have no idea what's going on. You need the expert. And believe me, I'm not saying we don't need doctors or anything like that, but it's that focus external versus internal. We've grown up with it. And we are, if we're not becoming more conscious, we are unconsciously passing that along to the next generation the way, or in a different way, but in the same idea, how it was passed along to us. And again, this is not about judging our ancestors. This is a different time. This is a time when it is going to be very helpful to awaken to the inside and mothering and deciding what is best. And I'm just going to use an example, okay? Because I have I have nieces and sons that are this age, and I've always been fascinated by the age when you finish schooling, and in the US, you finish schooling with high school at the high school level, and then there's a decision. What do you do next, right? Do you go to college, university? Do you go to a tech school? Do you apprentice? Do you whatever? And so making that decision, and I'm going to use my own personal experience as an adolescent here a little bit to illustrate. The decision was made for me that I was going to college. Okay. I'm grateful that I went. I believe it was the right decision. That was a great path for me. However, if I didn't believe that, I was going to have a problem because the decision was made for me for great reasons. Okay, it's fine. It's all good, but that was not necessarily something, it was a conscious choice. Do I make that decision and force a decision for my children, or do I not? And do I see what might be right for them? So that is one example of mother accepting where people are and then nourishing and facilitating them through that versus this is what it is. Now, what do I need to do to you, for you, whatever, to make you follow this path? Because I'm super convinced that that's right for you. That is very mothering. Okay. Another analogy I want to draw here is, in order to make a baby, right? All we as humans do is, we join in whatever way, okay? We join sperm and egg, and that's all we do. And then there's a process, right? That embryo, there is a process, and that embryo develops into something that is way greater than the addition, the sum of the egg and the sperm. We're not in control of that process, right? So to think that it is mothers, fathers, whatever, a parent's responsibility to make a certain outcome happen after the baby is born, that's not true. It's not true. And there are barriers that keep us in mothering. There are barriers that keep us in this place where we are trying to control versus the nourishment of the mother energy. I'm going to talk about two, at least two right now. One is our conditioning. Okay. And that's, what was, in some sense, what was passed down from our parents. However, it's not just what was passed down from our parents, because any of you that have siblings know that you were living in the same house, experiencing the same set of external circumstances, but you received it very differently, right? You were maybe different ages, but there's something even more than that. Your energy, who you are, is different. So you received it differently. Some things affected you in one way and affected your siblings in very different ways. So it's our conditioning, the unconscious thoughts, beliefs, all of those that we have as a result of our process growing up that we haven't yet questioned. That conditioning can keep us in this, it keeps us in this hamster wheel of mothering and controlling. There are also external forces at work, certainly in our world today, that keep us more in this highly yang, directing, controlling, governing kind of energy as people. Okay. I know I'm saying mother and using a lot of examples with children. This is not just about parents and children. This is about us being humans and the way that we interact with people, whether they are customers, clients, peers, people we supervise at work, friends, all other kinds of family, people on the street. It affects how we interact with people. I'm just talking about in the sense also where we are somewhat responsible for the raising of a human while they are not able to make it without us. Even if you don't know anything about human design, there are certain channels in human design. One of the channels I have in my chart is the channel that is, the nickname is the mother channel. And so that does not mean that I was born without, and I was never going to be conditioned into the mothering. Does not mean that. I do want to share that it was very easy for me in the Montessori classroom to show up from mother energy. It was extraordinarily easy. They were not my children, and I have this channel, and it was effortless. But when I would go home, and my boys, when I was a Montessori teacher, they were very young. They were toddlers and preschool as well. And I would go home and I would find, oh, this is so much more challenging with my own children because our emotional bond and all the conditioning, it is all there. So it's not that with the mother channel, I don't feel the challenge. I didn't work through the challenge. I certainly did with my own sons. But it is much, it's very natural, I will say. I don't want to say easier. That's like a comparison, and that's not really right. But it is very natural for me to come from the energy of mother with humans. The world today really directs us to look outside of ourselves. It's that external authority. Is that legal? Like government, if we're using the laws as our only authority about what we will and won't do, at least we'll stay within the bounds of the laws. However, we're not listening to our own inner authority either. So when we are coming from that mothering, that binary, I know what's best for you, and this is the way that it needs to get done, and all of it, we are furthering that external focus. Because if you think about a child, um, we're telling them what is right for them, and we're not listening to what they are saying or how they are reacting. And depending on the age of the child, right? They're probably reacting from what they're feeling in their body. And so then it becomes choice. Is my body right? Can I trust my body? Or do I trust mom, dad, auntie, whatever? If that happens over and over and over, they're going to be trained into not trusting themselves. Just like we are not maybe trusting ourselves. So it all is very, very connected. And the answer is to observe and observe yourself and to become just the slightest bit more conscious. Like, oh, what am I doing right now? What am I saying right now? Why am I saying that? Oh my gosh, I sound just like my grandmother. I remember. And why did she, and why am I? It is a challenge in today's world to do this step by step by step, all by ourselves. So surround yourself with other people who are interested in increasing consciousness. That is that is our mission here. That is, one of the huge things that ties Christoph and me and Alexandra together is our mission to increase consciousness. So however it feels right for you to stay tuned in with us on this channel. We're on Instagram. We each have our own set of offers and offerings to help increase consciousness from a different way, a different perspective, depending on your interests and needs. And there is one giant way where we all came together. The three of us came together and we together created an amazing product. And it's called Key of Diet. And I was the one who made sure that all of your questions got asked. The link is below for sure. Okay, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.